about emigration. They thanked him for his concern, but the idea seemed preposterous. A depressing letter from Benjamin detailing events in Berlin gave them momentary cause for concern, but no more than that. Benjamin wasn't talking about emigrating after all, and how could they sell the farm? Where would they go? Life on the farm went on in the usual way, up with the light, at the mercy of the seasons. But beyond its boundaries, in the village and in Varta, it was slowly becoming clearer that something important had changed. The younger men, boys really, not only lacked the civility of their parents, but seemed to delight in rudeness for rudeness' sake. They were only children, Miriam's father claimed. They would surely grow up. Her mother doubted it. Then a group of boys, on their way back from a Hitler Youth meeting, intercepted Miriam on her way home from the village shop. She wasn't frightened at first. She'd been at school with most of them. But the mockery soon turned to filth. Their eyes grew hungry, and their hands started tugging at her hair and her sleeves and her skirt. It was only the sudden appearance of one boy's father that broke the spell and sent them laughing on their way. She hadn't wanted to tell her parents, but one sleeve was torn, and she burst into tears, and her mother had dragged the story out of her. Her father had wanted to confront the boy's parents, but her mother had talked him out of it. Miriam heard them arguing late into the night, and the following day they announced that they were writing to ask Uncle Benjamin about finding her a job in Berlin. Things might be bad there, but at least she'd be with other Jews. There was always strength in numbers. She hated the idea of leaving, but no amount of pleading would change their minds. And as the days went by, she noticed, almost reluctantly, the depth of her own curiosity. She had never been further than Breslau in her 17 years, and had only been there on one occasion. The massive square and the beautiful town hall, the masses of people, had left her gasping with astonishment. And Berlin, of course, was much, much bigger. When Torsten had taken her to the cinema in Glatz, she'd seen glimpses of the capital in a newsreel, the huge stone buildings, the fields for just walking in, the swerving automobiles and gliding trams. Uncle Benjamin eventually replied, sounding doubtful but promising work at the printing factory. The date was set. Today's date. Away to the south, the line of mountains was growing dimmer in the heat haze. She took a deep gulp of the familiar air, as if it were possible to take it with her. A new life, she told herself. A safer life. The train clattered purposefully on. The fields grew larger as the land flattened out, lone trees and small copses stationed among them. Red-roofed villages with solitary church spires appeared at regular intervals. A black and white cat padded along between rows of cabbages. It was really hot now, the sun pulsing down from a cloudless sky. The platform at Münsterberg seemed almost crowded, and two middle-aged women took the corridor seats in Miriam's compartment, acknowledging her greeting but ignoring her thereafter. At Strehlen, the sounds of a distant marching band could be heard, and the station seemed full of uniformed young men. Several took up position in the corridor of her coach, smoking, laughing and talking at the tops of their voices, as if the world deserved to hear what they were saying. Two older men, businessmen by the look of them, took the seats opposite and next to Miriam. They raised their hats to her and the other women before they sat down. The one at her side had eaten onions for lunch. Half an hour later, they were rolling into Breslau, dirt tracks giving way to metalled roads, small houses to factories. Other railway lines slid alongside like braids intertwining on a thickening rope, until the train rattled its way into the vast shed of glass and steel which she remembered from her first visit. The onion-eater insisted on getting her suitcase down, joked that his wife's was always a great deal heavier, and tipped his hat in farewell. Torsten's face appeared in the window with its usual nervous smile. She hadn't seen him since he'd taken the job in Breslau, but he looked much the same, unruly hair, crumpled clothes, an apologetic air. The sole children of neighbouring farms, they had known each other since infancy, without ever being close friends. Their two fathers had arranged for Torsten to ensure that no harm befell her between trains.